welcome to Cooking at the Vault. I'm Ruthie Rogers, and tonight is all about Italian. A couple of my favorite things are going to happen tonight, so I'm going to bring one of them out, and that is my best friend Tammy Applegate. She will be my guest tonight. Hi Tammy.
Hello.
How are you?
Great. How are
ready for
you? Oh, yes.
We're going to have
I'm
some
excited.
fun, aren't we?
Oh, yeah. We're going to have a great time.
Okay. How long have we been friends?
20-some years? 7?
Probably
20.
2. You're
3,
aging
4.
us, so somewhere
Well,
around there. And how often have we cooked together?
That we couldn't count.
Yeah, we couldn't count that. We like
No.
to cook together. We do good together. We've done a few bad together.
Yes.
But more good than bad. So
We have a great time.
yeah. Well, tonight we are going to be assembling a wonderful asparagus lasagna, which can be made vegetarian, or this does have a little bit of meat into it. We're also doing a caprese salad that comes from the island of Capri in Italy, one of my favorites. And for dessert, I think is one of everybody's favorites, creme brulee. I know you like it as much as I do. So let's raise a toast to a fun night. And when we come back, Tammy and I are going to assemble our asparagus lasagna. So stay right here on Cooking at the Vault.
Cheers.
Hi, and welcome back to Cooking at the Vault. I'm Ruthie Rogers, and my guest today is Tammy Applegate. Today is all about Italian, and we are going to start off with an asparagus lasagna. Tammy, I'm going to have you go ahead and put, the recipe calls for 9 noodles, but go ahead and put at least 10 or 11 in, just in case some of them break apart.
Okay.
And I am going to start with 2 bottles of drained, these are sun-dried tomatoes, and they come in an olive oil. I have drained most of the olive oil out of them. You're going to use 2 jars of those. Okay, 1½ cups of basil leaves. And then we're just going to puree this until it makes a nice pesto. Actually, what I'm going to do first is add my Parmesan cheese, if I can get to it here.
Oh, don't be dropping everything like you always do.
Oh, hey. And this is a ½ cup of grated Parmesan cheese. I like to use the fresh whenever possible. This is a different recipe. It didn't come from a recipe book. I actually saw, it's another one that I saw on the Food Channel, on Everyday Italian. I have sauteed a medium onion and 2 tablespoons of chopped garlic. Can you smell that?
Oh, it
I
smells
saved
wonderful.
the olive oil from these and used that to saute, so it's even got more of the flavors of the tomatoes left in it.
They've caramelized nice.
Aren't they nice? So they take about 5 minutes to get to this point. The recipe calls for 4 bunches, but the asparagus is so good right now, they're so big that this is actually just 3 bunches, and it works fine for the recipe. I don't know that you would want 4 bunches. It just, I think, would be way too much. So we're gonna just saute this together. It's going to do some cooking in the oven, so you want to get it to where it's just kind of softened up a little bit. So it says to saute it for about 4 minutes. I bought some to plant in my yard, and I haven't got that done yet.
You planting something.
Hey, I can do a little bit, so.
Well, she's not a real good gardener. Trust me.
Okay. So I can cook and you can't. So you can garden and I can't.
Okay.
It's a good trade-off, right?
Yeah, it works.
The meat that I was talking about that gets added to this is called pancetta, and this is an Italian, like a bacon. And what I did was I browned and crisped 1 whole package of this. Did it ahead of time in the pan before I started the onions and the garlic, so there's some of the drippings from the pancetta in there as well. This is similar to a Canadian bacon, so it'd be good on breakfast sandwiches. Ooh, that's a heavy pan. Getting my workout again today. Make sure and get every little onion, a piece of garlic out of there. Oh, Tammy, doesn't that smell good? Mm-hmm. I am so excited.
It smells fantastic.
Okay, so to this, we're going to add the pancetta. And then we're going to add 1 whole package of whole milk ricotta cheese. I think you could probably use the part skim or even the low fat if you wanted to.
I
But
was just going to ask you that.
if you're eating Italian, who wants to go low fat, right?
That's true.
So, just going to mix all this together.
Make it nice and rich and good.
This is going to be our second layer for the lasagna. And the third layer in the lasagna is cheese, cheese, and more cheese. So 2 different kinds. Pile it on good. And just take a 9x13 pan. Doesn't need to be greased. And we're going to start the first layer by putting some of the sun-dried tomato pesto on the bottom. Just kind of spread it around so you get a little bit of it in each bite. It's going to be a 2-layer, so about half of this will get used on the bottom, and then the rest of it actually goes pretty close to the top. And the basil and the sun-dried tomatoes just make such a good taste. Okay, so if you'll hold that, I'm going to layer 3 of these. Try not to burn my fingers too bad.
They are hot. You can see how nicely they come apart, and that's a lot to do to the oil.
With the oil, isn't that wonderful? Mm-hmm. Okay. Next layer is going to be about half of this. Let's just spread around. Doesn't that look good?
Oh. Very.
So really, with the ricotta cheese in it, it's got 3 different cheeses in it. So, and then you're going to use half of, this is another 3/4 cup of Parmesan cheese that's been grated in addition to the half cup that we put in the pesto. And this is mozzarella cheese. It's 2 cups. So you're going to want to use maybe a little more than 2 cups because I got a little gracious when I was grating. I like my cheese.
And the fresh shredded.
Yep, definitely the fresh instead of the package because it's, like there again, it's processed. I did hear the other day though that they said the stuff that's already packaged and processed tends to melt easier.
Oh, really?
I've not really seen that before, but and then you kind of just invert it.
We have a lot of fun cooking together. Actually, she does most of the cooking. I just kind of assist. But it's a blast.
It is fun. And then butter. It asks just to dollop 2
butter.
tablespoons of butter on the top, just to give it a little,
That's
I
interesting.
think a little more fat, number 1, but number 2, a little more moisture. Plus it helps things brown up good. So this was 2 tablespoons.
Well, I love butter, so.
Yep, it makes things pretty good. And that is it. How easy was that to put together?
And it looks fantastic. Can't wait to try it.
I know. This is going to go in a 350-degree oven for about 25 to 30 minutes. Since everything is kind of hot when we assembled it, it's just mainly going to be putting it together, or warming it up thoroughly and melting the cheese. Okay, the lasagna's in the oven, and when we come back, we are going to put together a caprese salad. So don't go away, there's going to be more cooking at the vault. Sounds good.
Yes, wonderful.
Hi, and welcome back to Cooking at the Vault. I'm Ruthie Rogers, and I've got Tammy Applegate as my guest tonight, and tonight is all about Italian. we just finished our wonderful asparagus lasagna, and now we are going to put together a caprese salad. This is one of the easiest salads and has some of the best taste to it. 4 ingredients is it. First ingredient is going to be some mozzarella cheese. Okay, so we'll cut the next tomato. Did you plant a lot of tomatoes this year?
Well, yeah, so you can come steal them all,
Well,
like
not
you
all
always
of them.
do.
Gotta have the BLTs and all of that. Now there's a couple variations you can do with this salad. I know Ina Garten, in one of her cookbooks, she makes a caprese salad, but she likes to roast her tomatoes first. Sometimes when you roast tomatoes, it brings out the sweetness in them, so I could see maybe in the winter when tomatoes aren't quite as good as in the summer, you'd want to roast them.
Sure.
There again, I'm not a huge roasted tomato fan, so I choose to do it all fresh. And then we're going to just cut the mozzarella. This is so good. Then it's just a matter of layering your cheese to your tomatoes.
And look how pretty it is.
It does turn out pretty.
Besides tasting good.
One more little piece on here. And then I'm going to snip some of my fresh basil. I've had more fun with my little herb garden this summer.
And for that to still be alive is a miracle. She does not have a green thumb.
I can do some things.
Oh, she tries.
And with the basil, you can cut it or you can just tear it with your fingers. I love fresh basil. And then it's just going to get scattered over, kind of the colors of the Italian flag. And then we're going to put some salt. And of course,
And some
fresh
pepper.
ground pepper. And then you're just going to drizzle some extra virgin olive oil. Make sure it's the extra virgin type, because since you're not cooking with it or baking with it, you want the taste to be real nutty and sweet. Some of the
Nutty
other olive
like you.
oils. Yeah.
Sweet like me.
Debatable. But we won't argue on TV. And that's it. There's the caprese salad, ready to eat in just a couple minutes. Very easy to put together. How easy was that?
Very.
Oh, can you smell the lasagna?
Yes. It smells
The garlic
so
and
good.
the cheese, I can just imagine is melting and bubbling. And okay, we'll be ready for it when it's done. So
Yes.
when we come back to Cooking at the Vault, Tammy and I are going to make a creme brulee, everybody's favorite. So don't go away, we'll be right back. Hi, welcome back to Cooking at the Vault. I'm Ruthie Rogers, and my guest is Tammy Applegate, or better known as Tamara Sue. We are all about Italian today, and we have just finished making our caprese salad, and now we're getting down to dessert. This is one of my all-time favorites. There
Yes.
are a lot of variations to it, but tonight we're just making straight across creme brulee. And we're going to start by putting 2 cups of heavy cream, no substitutions, in the pan. And if you want to turn it on to about number 3 and get it going. To the cream, we're going to add a vanilla bean, and they come bottled like this at the grocery store. And what you want to do is just slice it down the middle, kind of cut it in half.
And don't try to cut yourself like she always does.
Try not to.
She's real good at it.
And then you want to scrape all of the seeds out of the inside. This is where all the good flavor comes from the vanilla bean. Teeny tiny little things. Whoops. Do both sides. And then you're also going to add the pod to the cream because there's still a lot left inside there.
And one.
Once that is done, you're going to just let this cook until you get little bubbles on the outside. You don't want to heat it up too much because you don't want the cream to cook to the bottom of the pan.
Right.
Excuse me. In here I've got 6 egg yolks. You don't want to use the whole egg, just the yolks. And you want to just whisk that until they turn a little bit of a lighter color. Just a couple seconds. And then you're going to add a 1/3 cup of granulated sugar. And you just want to stir that up until it dissolves in the eggs.
Yum.
Then if you want to, let it set for a couple minutes and get to room temperature. But I don't think it gets hot enough that it's going to do any damage to the eggs. So you slowly want to put it in to the eggs, not on the counter. And this is the easy part of it. It looks like it's a quick make, but that's the quickest part of it. So to bake them, you want to take 4 dishes, or you can make it into 6 if you want to. Place them in a baking pan, and then you want to fill it with water because these you don't want to cook just openly in the oven. They go into a water bath, which helps it cook a little more evenly. So you're just going to pour it evenly into the 4 cups. And this takes, you want it to cook slow. So actually it's going to bake in a 275-degree oven. And it cooks with this thick in these bigger bowls. It takes about an hour. When it's done, it's still going to have a little jiggle to the center of it, but you can tell it kind of starts looking done on top. And then you take them out and let them set to room temperature, and then they get refrigerated for at least 2 hours before you're ready to serve. So since our lasagna is still going, we are going to just set these off to the side because I made some ahead. And I have got some that are already done. Now this is what they look like when they come out of the oven. They have been sitting, I actually made these this morning, so they sat more than 2 hours in the refrigerator, so they won't jiggle anymore. And then this is how the finished product looks. And what I'm going to do now is show you how to crystallize the sugar on top. This is organic brown sugar, but you can use white sugar or you can use the raw sugar, works real well. You don't want to put it on too thick. Just have a good coating. The whole thing has to be covered because this makes a nice little candy shell on the top. And I've got my handy dandy little flamethrower.
Watch out.
Watch out. And you're just going to cook the sugar. If you don't have a little kitchen flame like this, just simply put them on a baking pan and put them in the oven under the broiler. Don't take your eyes off of them because it does burn awful fast. As you can see, it doesn't take too long to cook the sugar on top. Yum.
I know.
This is the best part.
Fantastic.
And that's how easy it is.
Top them with my favorite.
I know. Look at these raspberries, how big they are. I couldn't believe them at the grocery store. Top them with a couple berries. If you want, you can add whipped cream. But I think the whipped cream kind of takes away from the awesome taste of the creme brulee in itself.
Oh.
Yum. And they are ready to serve.
Fantastic.
How wonderful does that look?
So good.
And we're pairing our dinner today with an Italian Chianti. So we've made the lasagna is in the oven. It should be done in a couple minutes. Matter of fact, I will check. I think it's ready to come out of the oven.
So you don't spill them.
Ooh, look at that. The cheese is browned on top. You can hear it bubbling.
Oh, that looks
Doesn't that look
fantastic. I'm
good?
so excited.
Okay,
go.
so we've got the lasagna. We made the caprese salad.
Yeah.
And
Creme brulee.
creme brulee's done. So thanks for joining me, Tammy. So let's recap what we did today on Cooking at the Vault. Asparagus lasagna. You'll need Parmesan cheese, mozzarella cheese, pancetta, and ricotta cheese. Next, you'll need asparagus, sun-dried tomatoes, basil leaves, and butter. First, you'll boil your noodles, then blend the pesto, then add the cheese. Next, you will add the asparagus, pancetta, and ricotta. Then layer the noodles. Then bake. Caprese salad. You'll need a tomato, a mozzarella cheese ball, olive oil, fresh basil, and salt. Start by slicing the tomato, the mozzarella cheese ball, and the basil. Then simply layer and spread the basil over the top. Add salt and pour the olive oil over. Creme brulee. You'll need raw sugar, regular sugar, raspberries, heavy cream, and vanilla beans. Heat the cream, add the vanilla bean, mix the sugar and eggs, then whisk in the cream mixture. Pour into bowls, top with the raw sugar, melt the sugar, and top it all with raspberries. Well, as you can see, we've finished in the kitchen and we are ready to enjoy this meal that we just prepared. On behalf of my guests for today, Tammy Applegate, I'm Ruthie Rogers. Thanks for watching Cooking at the Vault. For today's menu card, as well as clips for upcoming episodes, go to the MCG website at www.mahaska.org. And for more healthy living recipes, go to Hy-Vee's website at www.hyvee.com.